years I've known Wallace, the only thing I can get a steady bead on is the space his loyalty had just occupied. But really, his reaction yesterday afternoon when receiving the list from Lady Morrigan doesn't matter, because I have no say in whose memories I harvest, and my failure to do so will mean it's my back against the firing squad wall again, not his. So I take a long breath, then resign myself to the job. Kneeling, I lay out my kit on the disused produce crate that serves as a night table beside the bed. 2 cloth squares and 1 pipette of iodine. A needle, 2 empty vials, a round bandage, and 2 slivers of coal. His hair is thin. The temple is easy to find. A drop of iodine hangs on the tip of the needle before I slide it in. I stretch his skin with my index and middle fingers, and with a little probing I navigate past the firmer portions of the temporal lobe until I find the soft section of his hippocampus and begin to bleed his memory cortex. His eyelids flutter like a flurry of ashen moths are trying to beat their way out. Fingers claw and twitch. Slowly, the vial attached to the end of the needle fills with milky liquid. I shift him onto his side to help it flow faster, so I can sooner leave him be. As memory drains from his skull, I stare outside the single window in his apartment. Eitan City throbbing faint crimson. A red sky at night is a sailor's delight. But if the red is the flames of the Amergin neighborhood, a twisted collection of shanty buildings set ablaze 10 years ago that continues to burn, and we haven't seen direct sun in 30, then what do sailors know? This heat is tactile. Instead of rain, we get condensation, languid smog that chokes the air. Each day we're convinced it's the day that smog will break, the day real light will cut through and actual water will fall from the sky. Each night we go to bed thinking tomorrow will be the day. I thought that way for years. It was one of the things that attracted my wife, Afe. She'd said that, even after all the fallout of the decades-long resource wars and the Tathadann sanctioned death squads of the struggle, I still hoped for sunlight, even though I hadn't seen it since I was a child. It was the perfect complement to her feisty cynicism, another way that our contrasts brought us closer, made the passion burn brighter and hotter than an exploding star. But now, I can't remember the last time I closed my eyes wishing for the sun. Oh, that's right, I can. And ever since I've been closing them, wishing for nothing. The old man's twitching becomes violent, and it takes both of my knees to hold him still. I press my thumb against his carotid artery until he falls limp. I switch out vials, setting the one meant for Wallace on the floor beneath the bed, and inserting another I'll sell on my own. The vial fills. Picnics and birthdays, the way young Riyab liked his sandwiches cut, seeping from his temple. Drip by drip. Something reminiscent of bells rings out in the street, but it might only be shots from home-modified weapons. In the distance is the old county airport, which was converted into a food augmentation factory after the resource wars, and the ensuing chaos cured everyone's yearning for travel. The fighting started in the West between competing resource companies, sort of like the old oil companies, but they'd harvested any profitable commodity, and they each had their own army for protection. They scrapped and clawed for any bit of land they could develop and exploit. Then conflicts gradually spread east, with no heed for oceans or language, eventually crossing the channel and razing the fields of West Hell County. My father told me that the mountains gave him and the other fighters inside their watchtowers a better sightline, and with their rifles they were able to keep the hordes away from Eitan City, the largest city in West Hell. But by then it didn't matter, because the massive amount of chemical weapons the companies used to fight one another and harvest resources had already tainted the atmosphere and stopped the rain. Each new company that swept through promised the sun would melt the snow in the mountains, and that would help us collect the water for our crops. But the people had already believed in too many lies and refused to accept any more. It was tragic, he'd said, that the people then believed the lies of the Morrigan brothers as they were building the Tathadann Party, which capitalized on our fears.